Hi, and welcome to the Leader's Edge. How to sharpen your competitive advantage and make a positive impact as a leader in your organization and community. So, I'm Emily Chiwa, and Georgia is here with me today. Hi, Georgia.
Yeah. Hi, good to be back, Emily.
Yes, so good to see you. You're still looking like you're on vacation, or
Hey.
not vacation, but not
Yes,
not in your regular place. And I
yes,
think your
yes.
background is appropriate, right? So because today we, as leadership coaches, we are talking about an important habit of leadership, right? Which is pausing and reflecting, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Georgia is in a great place. Sometimes we have to change our location sometimes to allow ourselves to do that reflection. So
Mhm.
I find the background is perfect. So
Okay, good. I think
yeah,
I'll keep it.
good. So we want to use a three-step process to do this. I like to recommend this as an easy way to allow ourselves to do this pausing and reflecting. And
Mhm.
it's simple. It's like what went well, what
Yeah.
didn't go as well, and what would I do differently next time, or what would we do
Mhm.
differently next time to make it better. So
Right.
Georgia, let's try to use that to evaluate how we're doing with our show so far, and to sort of
Okay.
demonstrate this process in action for our listeners and
Yes.
viewers.
Emily, who would believe episode 13? It seems we just started and we're at episode 13. So this is a wonderful time for us to stop, pause, reflect, and do a little reset. And Emily, I'm sure, when you're talking to your coaching clients as well, and if you have several sessions with them at some point in time during that coaching session, you suggest to them to pause and reflect and do a reset and think about, the conversations you've had and what have they done differently. What has gone well, what didn't go well, and what would they do differently? And so we are mirroring what we say to our clients today. Now, Emily, the first thing I want to talk about that has gone well is the synergy that you and I have. I
Mm,
think we work so well together. And then, because of that, too, I think we did a very good job in choosing or selecting the persons who came on as guests. You
yes,
notice how smoothly all our conversations went with our guests? Yes,
yes,
and the kind of
yes.
information they shared with us over the time that we've had them. I'm sure we have some favorites, all of them. But they shared so much information with us, and I'm hoping that our viewers and our listeners, they gained much from the discussions that we've had. So those are some
Yeah.
of the particular things that went well. I think also the topics that we chose were impactful. People were
Yes,
able
I
to take
loved,
things
yeah,
from them and move right into action with them, so they have been very practical. What do you
yeah,
think about those, Emily? Anything else that stood out for you that went well?
absolutely. I mean, I agree with all that you said.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the topics. I love the diversity of the group of
Yes.
persons we engaged and got and were willing to come on and speak to us. I also found what went well is that actually it felt so seamless, which was I thought it was going to be harder in some
Yeah.
ways
Okay. Good.
to
It
to
was
coordinate
natural.
and to, yeah, well, like even when I reached out to the majority of the people were very, very easy, and yes, let's do it. and
Yes,
and was and
yes.
what I do enjoy a lot is we always ask them to share something personal about it,
Hmm.
in terms of from their coming from their experience at
Yes,
whatever level they want to go and however deep they want to go. And I feel like um that made the conversations a lot more impactful. So
yes,
all of those
yes.
things went well. They were just willing. It was easy. So as
That's
you
so
said,
true. That's
the
so true.
conversations felt natural,
Yes.
and it just flowed. So
Hmm.
I love
Yeah,
that. I love that.
yeah.
That went particularly well for
And
me.
you know what, too, Emily, we need to pause here and think about that because they were so willing to jump in, some of them even at short notice. And it speaks to relationships. So it
Hmm.
speaks to the relationships that we have with some of them. And, maybe some of them we didn't know personally, but somebody who we knew them. And they were willing to jump in with us. I imagine maybe based on our reputation, based on a previous relationship we've had with them. And that's one of the things we say to our coaching clients: relationships matter. And
Wow.
it's important that you build those relationships, you build that synergy, and you collaborate. So we saw it play out in our own show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's
Abs-
move on to what maybe didn't work so well. And it
Yes.
was hard for me to think, to come up with something, but you triggered a thought in my head when you spoke about them sharing their own personal story. I think if we had gotten some more of them to share more inspirational stories, I think that would have worked a little better because people are drawn to stories. And when they hear someone's experience and say, oh, he experienced that and he went through that and he came out on the other side, so I can do it too. So I think,
Yes.
what do you think about that?
Yes. Yes. I agree like 100%.
Yeah.
I feel like that is so important because, as you say, we are naturally drawn to stories. I think, when people are vulnerable and willing to
Mm-hmm.
share um, about real life, the thing is, life, the ups and downs are there, right?
Of course.
Everyone experiences it. And sometimes we shy away from sharing or talking about
Mm-hmm.
things that didn't go as well. But
Right.
interestingly, those are the places where we learn the most, where we grew the most, and where we probably can reach someone who's going through that right now,
That's so
who's
true.
having that hard time. And so, yes, yes, I really I love when we have when persons are willing to go there. Sometimes it's not
Yes.
as easy.
Mm-hmm.
However, yes, from a coaching perspective, those are great places of learning and growth that can inspire
Yeah.
person. So yes, I would agree that, yeah. And I
Oh,
mean, and as I said, it really depends on the willingness to do it and how comfortable persons are to do it. Some people
okay.
are just
Right.
very open and it's easy, and some not so much, and it's
Yes.
fine. I think, yeah, I think I would hear you on that. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
you could always do more there, for sure, for
Emily,
sure.
I don't know if you remember, we had one particular guest, and when we did our prep show, he shared a wonderful story. And we said, yes, when he comes live and we go on now and he's going to share that story. And it just went out of his head.
Yes,
And we said,
yes,
oh my goodness, had he shared that story, would have been so much more impactful. But then,
true.
I think these things flow naturally.
Yes, yes,
So, Ems, we have done this now. This is our 13th time. What would we do differently?
boy.
Oh my goodness, that one stretched me a little bit too.
Yes,
You know what
yes.
I thought about last night as I'm preparing for this? I said maybe we could ask our guests what are the topics they want to hear. We came up with the topics ourselves so far. So maybe one of the things we can do differently is ask them to drop us a note. What are some of the topics you want us to talk about? Did anything come to mind for you?
Um, no, I like that idea.
Yeah.
What came to mind? Well, I mean, in terms of differently, probably, it's been one of the learnings for me has been, just the technology and the
Yes.
background of this whole thing.
Yes.
Um, I feel like maybe I don't know if there's something we can do differently there to make that a little smoother,
Okay.
because
Mm-hmm.
that is always that can be a little bit of a challenge. I guess we can look at it and see if there's
Yes.
possibility.
Okay.
Even in terms of timing, like
Mm-hmm.
really
Yes.
just getting the notice out, and is it happening in a time where enough people are
Right.
seeing it in time
Right.
to get on the show, to get on
Right.
and engage.
Yes.
I love your idea of engaging. I would love to see our audience giving us more comments, more
Yes.
questions. If I would wish, but I can't do that differently. I can
No.
ask the person
Yes.
who are
Yes.
listening or who engage with us after the fact. Please,
Mm-hmm.
give us that feedback,
That
that
feedback. Yeah.
support
Mm-hmm.
through feedback, through support through feedback, which again could help you, but also others who, as
Right.
I said, are possibly going through something similar to you in your leadership growth challenge.
Yes.
or you're just feeling like, there's a, you're at a point and you're not sure how to get past
To
that
get to the
point.
next level.
And yeah, and what is it, as you say, in terms of the topic, Georgia, that would
Mm-hmm.
help that person in that space? So if
Mm-hmm.
we
Mm-hmm.
get some of those kinds of examples, ideas, questions, and you don't have to comment. If you want to send things to us and you feel it's personal, you can message us at
Right.
for Georgia, and we will take that into consideration
Of
and
course. Of course.
build a show around it, because we do
Yes.
have there's such a diverse group of leaders that can speak on so many different matters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, if we get that
Mm-hmm.
information
Yes.
from
Yes.
people or persons, that we could definitely build on that.
Okay.
And yeah,
Yeah, and as we're pausing and reflecting, Emily, I think we need to look at our numbers. How are we reaching people? Are we promoting enough? Who is the audience that we're targeting? And what's the impact on them? I don't know how we're going to get feedback, but we need to look at our analytics to see how we're doing and get feedback. But
yeah,
I'm so glad. And so important, Ems, we haven't spoken about our AIA. I like to call it our
yes, that
Aya.
came. Yes,
Our
that came
Aya.
to my mind,
We
and then
we
so
came up, yeah, we came up with that concept. So folks, for every show that we do, we want to do three things. We want to give you some level of awareness. So that's our A. And then it's an inspiration. So that's when the guests come on and we ask them to share a story that inspires you. And then to close off the show, we want to make sure to move you to some action. So before we leave today now, Emily, what are we asking our viewers and listeners to do? What action?
I think the action is to use this example and use the habit of stopping every now and again and reflecting. I feel like, I mean, even for myself when I do this. So the other day I did a short workshop, Georgia, and at the end I didn't feel it landed the way I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my way of stopping to reflect on, okay, I use these same
Yeah.
three steps. What went well here? What were the things that I felt didn't go as well? And then, dug into what I can do differently. And luckily for me, I
Mm-hmm.
had to repeat that same presentation not too long after. And I did some changes to how I
Ah,
approach certain areas in the presentation, and it worked. Like
ah, excellent.
everything that I brought into the next phase applied. So it's such a simple process, and
Right.
it's like taking baby steps. You don't have to change everything. You just change one thing, just
Mm-hmm.
one thing
Mm-hmm.
that would make it that much more impactful, that much better. Even if it's, how did you prepare? How did I
Right.
feel? How,
Yes.
what was going on in me when I was doing this? Was I ready to have this conversation, this difficult conversation? If it was a
Mm-hmm.
difficult conversation that didn't go well,
Mm-hmm.
what was it? And
Right.
how can I make that one thing that changes the outcome? So I want to, all that is to say,
Yeah.
people out there, use this process. Use this process, this simple three steps, to allow yourself to learn from what you have done. Set your intentions prior, use the process to see, did I get to where I wanted? If I didn't get to where I wanted, what would I do differently? And you know
Mm-hmm.
what? You'd be surprised at how, not just how easy it is, but
Mm-hmm.
also how you are not just mindlessly moving from one
Right.
thing to the other,
That's
but you're
that's the
bringing that
point.
mindfulness into it. Yes, you're bringing that mindfulness into it and that awareness into it, and greater clarity about what it is you want, and
Mm-hmm.
able to get to the outcomes, better outcomes that you
Right.
are looking for.
Right.
So use
Yeah.
it. It's what my challenge to the listeners and the viewers out there. Use the
Yes.
process, and let us know how it
Yeah.
went.
Yeah. Send us a message. Send us a message so we know that we're making a difference for you. And we're doing this show. Yes, we like doing it together, but we're doing it for you, because without you, there's no point in doing this show. So hopefully you will take some of these things that we're saying, and it's going to make a difference in the way you lead and the way you live. So as
Absolutely.
we wrap up today, Emily, I want to thank you for choosing me to be doing this live with you for episode lucky number 13. And I know we have quite a few lined up for the next several weeks. And if there are leaders out there who'd like to jump in and become a guest, please go right ahead and send us a message. We're only too happy to have you.
Absolutely.
Yes. All
Thank you,
right.
Georgia. It's been a pleasure. I love working with you. As you said, we have this natural synergy, so it feels so easy. And so thank you for deciding to jump in. And yeah, on at 7 a.m. on mornings, on Monday morning.
Yes. I'm not a morning person,
I
right?
know. So always, yeah, yeah. So it's a pleasure, and everyone, we're wishing you all a great week, a productive week.
Mm-hmm.
Remember to pause and reflect, and
Yeah.
we will see you next week.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.